Hello everybody, welcome to Medicine channel. In this video I want to share with you 10 great cheap and expensive smelling alternative fragrances. The fragrances that they are cheap and smell like those other heavy hitters out there. If you want to spend less and smell as great as those famous brands, this video is absolutely for you. If you're first time here, don't forget to subscribe the channel to get notifications by my new uploads. I upload frequently. Let's see the fragrances. I want to start the list by House of David Beckham at number 10 spot. David Beckham Classic Blue. There is other fragrances in this line, but I'm talking about Classic Blue. This fragrance is very close to Narciso Rodriguez Blue Noir EDT, but compared to that fragrance, this is a bit more shower jelly smelling. That fragrance is a bit deeper and woodsier. Main players in this fragrance are pineapple, apple, lavender, citruses. Very unique type of blue fragrance, exactly like Narciso Rodriguez Blue Noir. That fragrance is also upscale and a bit different compared to other fragrances out there. It smells very unique compared to Blue Noir. It is also a bit weaker. That fragrance is also not strong, like 6 hours. This one is like 3 hours. On the skin by half a day, on the clothing by first hour, fair projection. But by this price, 10-15 bucks for 100 ml, you can apply it during the day countless. David Beckham Classic Blue. Next fragrance is Missoni Edp at number 9 spots. A very great alternative for Bleu de Chanel Eau de Toilette. You can find some similarities by EDP as well, but to my nose, leans a bit in the EDT side of Bleu de Chanel. By the first sniff, it smells herbal, minty, lavendery by undertone, freshness of the citruses, but citruses here are not that fizzy, bright like bergamot. It is like bitter and grapefruity type of citrusy. It smells very close to Bleu de Chanel, 60-70%. I can say by some additionals and some missings, like that incense note is not available here. Instead we have more patchouli, more birchy vibes, and that body lotiony, hands creamy vibe is also not available here. It is like straight type of Bleu de Chanel. Performance is very good. Performs like EDP version of Bleu de Chanel, 6-7 hours plus, and smells like EDT version of Bleu de Chanel. Very great alternative fragrance. Okay. At number 8 spots, Rasasi Faton. You can check out my full review on this fragrance. This is very great cheap alternative fragrance for Terre d'Hermes EDT. Absolutely, you can get some similarities by EDP, but leans a bit in the EDT side of Terre d'Hermes. So if you like that fragrance, you're gonna love this fragrance as well. There is some differences between this and the Terre d'Hermes. It smells a bit drier, scratchier, and greener compared to that fragrance. A bit like metallic or synthetic version of Terre d'Hermes. Performance is way better. You can catch 8-10 hours plus by this fragrance. By average projection is not that great. Honestly, I can get a little bit better projection at first hour by Terre d'Hermes, but this fragrance projects for a long time, for 2-3 hours. So the winner is this one. Price is 20 bucks for 50 ml. You cannot find another sizes, only 50 ml. I believe this 50 ml will last you like 2 years something, because at least I'm like that. I cannot go more than 4 puffs by this fragrance. Absolutely headaches after 4 puffs. Very strongly performing type of fragrance. At 7 spot, one of my most favorite houses in terms of creating high quality cheapies, House of Bentley. I have here Bentley Momentum Intense, a very great alternative. I can say also clone, very close, 95%, like CH Man by Carolina Herrera, the regular one, which is nowadays very bad performer. At the before also was not that beast, but at least was 6 hours like this fragrance. How is the scent of this fragrance? If you have smelled Carolina Herrera CH Man, the regular one, I can say identical. But if you haven't smelled that fragrance, it is grassy, earthy, muddy somehow, by slightly sweetness at the background. Compared to the regular CH Man, it smells less sweet. Let's continue again by House of Bentley, another masterpiece, another great bang for your buck. Bentley for an Absolute, a very great alternative for Gucci Pour Homme 2003 version, which is officially discontinued, and it's just very crazy prices on the eBay for that fragrance, but it is a very great alternative for that. I believe the perfumer behind of these two fragrances, this one and Gucci Pour Homme, is same person if I'm not mistaken. So 30 bucks for 100 ml Eau de Parfum fragrance. It is smoky. If you have smelled that fragrance, I can say 95%. If you haven't smelled, it is smoky, pencil shaving, resiny, and very daring type of fragrance in a very inoffensive way. It is very crazy and great job here because it is very daring note by a very inoffensive scent profile. For whatever reason, I have no idea. It is like miracle. They put a lot of heavy stuffs here, but the fragrance is very friendly and inoffensive. So if you like dark fragrances, if you are a fan of dark fragrances like me, I really love dark fragrances, and you want to have some dark fragrances without being offensive, like very masculine dark fragrance for office situations, close encounters, this fragrance is absolutely for you. Bentley for men, absolute. At 5th spot from House of Armaf Bois Luxora. You can check out my full review on this fragrance. It is a very great alternative for Dior Fahrenheit Aqua or Fahrenheit Summer, both of those versions. You're gonna catch that famous gasoline note here in a very summery way. Fragrance smells citrusy, grape fruity, not that fizzy citrusy. It is very masculine bitter type of citrusy and green. You're gonna catch that Fougère vibe here. Very close to Fahrenheit Aqua by Dior. Performance of this one is 5 to 6 hours by fair projection for first 1.5 hours. You want to smell unique, outstanding masculine like Fahrenheit Aqua, Fahrenheit Summer without spending that much on those fragrances. By 20 bucks, you can go buy Armaf Bois Luxora. Very great alternative for those fragrances. One of those cheapy fragrances that really smells expensive and every time is in my collection from House of Cuba Gold. A very great alternative for Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male. Compared to newer batches, I prefer this one because it is cheaper. 10 bucks for 100 ml is cheaper than water and performs almost equal by that fragrance. But Jean Paul Gaultier before batches was beast. Everybody know it. It is 8-10 hours plus. But right now is 5-6 hours. This fragrance is also 5-6 hours, and I can get a little bit better projection by this one at first half an hour. After that is also equal. But by this price again I cannot go wrong. So if you want to smell very close to Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male by spending 10 bucks only instead of paying 90 bucks for that fragrance, Cuba Gold is the best alternative right now in the market. Another masterpiece again from House of Rasasi, Alwi Someday, one of the best alternatives of Creed Silver Mountain Water in my humble opinion right now in the market. I wish I had seen this fragrance before purchasing Silver Mountain Water, because if I had seen this one before I would not purchase Silver Mountain Water honestly, because by 40-50 bucks maximum you can find it cheaper even. You're gonna get 8 hours plus longevity by beastly projection for first hour, second hour, good projection. So projects beastly compared to that fragrance. Silver Mountain Water is not that great in terms of projection, but sillage is good. And I can get 6 hours, very transparent, polite and airy performance by that fragrance. By this one is 8 hours, very good longevity. At number 2 spot from House of Montblanc, Montblanc Explorer. I purchased this fragrance 120 bucks, I remember it. Prices was crazy in 2019. Right now it's around 30-40 bucks on discounters. Very great alternative for Creed Aventus. Right now I prefer this one over other alternative fragrances. I like the version of this fragrance, the take of this fragrance. They put something on this fragrance that I really like it, like pepper and Braxton leather, and they boosted that complementing factor of Aventus DNA here, and it smells very contemporary and modern to my nose. Performance is very good. Solid lasting type of fragrance, lasts like 10-12 hours plus on the skin, but projection is not as great as longevity. I cannot get that great projection out of this bottle, maybe for first half an hour, but after that projects like very near to your skin, but strongly, like 5 cm but intensely. Let's continue by a very great alternative cheapy fragrance in my collection, Ferrari Bright Neroli. I remember it was 2 years before like 80-100 bucks. Right now it is good, 30 bucks maximum, and you can find it sometimes even cheaper, under 30 bucks on discounters. Bright Neroli is a very great alternative for Tom Ford Neroli Portofino. Compared to that fragrance, this fragrance leans a bit more floral. That fragrance is like floral citrusy. Citruses here are not as dominated as Tom Ford Neroli Portofino, but I can say 70 to 75% similar smelling to that fragrance. Performance is average, but by considering the price I can say even good. 5-6 hours on the skin, by half a day on the clothing, and after 2-3 hours a bit smells different and turns to metallic synthetic something, but you can apply it during the day countless, but it smells absolutely at first 3 hours very expensive. Ferrari Bright Neroli. So guys, if you liked the video, I hope you did. Thumbs up, it means a lot for me. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to get notifications by my new uploads. Stay safe, see you in another video.